Ahoy hoy everybody, and welcome to another film review. So in this series I randomly select, using a random number generator, a page from this book, 1001 Movies to See Before You Die. Is that what it's called? 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. And the first film on that page, assuming I haven't already reviewed it, I watch and then review on the channel. And the random number generator chose page 48. And the first film on there is The Thief of Baghdad from 1924. When I saw it was a low number, I thought, oh, hopefully it'll be an early hour-long silent comedy. That would be good. So I was a bit daunted when I saw it was a 2 hour and 40 minute swashbuckler, and wasn't sure how I'd last with that in a silent film. But spoiler, I enjoyed the film. So The Thief of Baghdad stars Douglas Fairbanks, and it was basically his baby. He produced it, although officially he didn't write it. He was largely responsible for the story, and although he didn't direct it, he was largely responsible for the look of the film, and basically it's his film. If you're familiar with Disney's Aladdin, you are familiar pretty much with the plot of this film. Disney's Aladdin stole, or homaged, a lot of the plot of this film to pad out the Aladdin story. It was an expensive film. It cost over $1 million, which at the time, of course, was a hell of a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money now, but for a film in those days, it was a fortune. Huge set built in Hollywood, the biggest ever, and it shows. I'll start with the plot. There will be spoilers, but it's a 100-year-old film, and as I say, most of you will sort of recognise the plot and what's going to happen from Aladdin anyway. So Douglas Fairbanks plays Ahmed, who is the titular Thief of Baghdad, and the film opens with him in the busy marketplace of Baghdad performing various crimes. It sort of follows him through the day with it, gathering his haul. Then during that process, he steals a magic rope, which he then uses to break into the palace of the Caliph of Baghdad, and the plan is to sort of steal some jewels. But then he sees a princess, and he falls in love instantly and decides that the life of crime is no longer for him. He wants to marry the princess. He hatches a plan with his friend to drug her and take her away, which has happened before in the past. But he can't bring himself to do it. They fall in love with each other. He enters the castle disguised as a prince. It's her birthday, and potential suitors arrive at the palace for her to choose who she will marry. There's a Prince of Persia, Prince of somewhere else I can't remember, and the Mongol Prince, who's sort of the baddie of the piece, because as well as wanting to marry the princess, the Mongol Prince also wants to take over Baghdad. He could also be considered the titular character, the Thief of Baghdad. And then, disguised as a prince, Douglas Fairbanks enters as well. The princess has performed this little fortune-telling thing with sand, which shows that the first person who touches her rose bush, and that's not a euphemism, will be the one she marries, and it turns out to be Douglas Fairbanks. So they fall in love, but it's quickly revealed that he is the thief who broke in the other night, and he gets whipped, and he's going to be thrown to this giant ape. Well, man-size ape. It's a real ape. To be torn apart but the princess, who they've had a conversation and she still loves him regardless, bribes the guards to release him back out into the street. To buy time, she sets this challenge for the other three princes to go off and return after 7 moon, or on the 7th moon, so that's 28 weeks, with the rarest precious item, or words to that effect. And she will use that to choose who she will marry. Basically, she's just buying time. So they go off. One of them gets magic carpet, one of them gets a magic crystal ball, and the Mongol prince gets a magic apple. In the meantime, Douglas Fairbanks, having decided he doesn't want to follow this life of crime, goes to a mosque and speaks to the leader of the mosque, who sends him on a journey to get this magic silver casket or chest, which I was expecting was a huge great thing, and it's a little thing so big. Anyway, so he goes off and he has to perform a number of challenges to get this chest. There's a fiery region where he has to leap over plumes of fire. There's all sorts of monsters and that sort of thing. It's a bit underwater. He has to go down to get a key. All sorts of things like that. He gets this chest, which contains magic dust, which when he throws to the ground creates whatever he was wishing for. So he goes back, defeats the evil Mongol prince, and wins the day and marries the princess, etc. Huge plot elements that were used for Aladdin. So it's 100 years old. Apart from the fact it's black and white and silent, the only thing that really dates it is the acting style. Everything's really exaggerated. It's all, big hands on hips and large gestures, because they haven't got the dialogue. They're sort of portraying sorry about the email pings in the background. They're sort of portraying the dialogue through gesture, and it takes a while to get used to because it looks so hammy, but you do get used to it. But other than that, it's a spectacular film. There's effects in it that don't just look good for a 100-year-old film. They would look good today. They probably, there's shots that would today be done using CG that would look bad compared to what was done 100 years ago. You've got flying carpets, you've got this magic rope that, looks like it should be a simple on a wire trick, but then he's on the top of it and the end's dangling and it looks like it can't be a wire. It's very, very well done. There's definite scenes where you can't really work out how they did it. A couple of the monsters look a bit dodgy, but otherwise, very impressive visual effects. And then just the whole spectacle of the thing is amazing. So they've built the whole city of Baghdad on this massive set, thousands of extras. There's one scene, as I said earlier, he has to go underwater to get this key from a chest, which he gets. He defeats this giant sea tick thing. And then this siren appears and tries to seduce him and beckons him into this little cave. So he goes into this cave, and it's this big underwater palace. And there's these huge jellyfish chandeliers hanging from the ceiling. It looks amazing, and it's on screen for about a minute, because he literally goes in, feels the ring that the princess gave him, realises that's what he wants, and leaves. It's, as I say, probably about a minute of screen time, and this set must have cost thousands of pounds. At that time, it's really impressive visually. Really enjoyed the film. Yes, it is long and it does drag in parts. It could be tightened, but that's, a modern perspective on it. I watched it on YouTube. I didn't mention it was on YouTube, so I just watched it straight away on YouTube. I will leave a link to the film down below, so if you are curious, you can check it out. As you know, if need be, you can watch it in sections, but by and large, it went by fairly quickly. Yeah, it's just a really, really, really good film. Very, very impressive. And I gave it 8 out of 10. So yeah, that is The Thief of Baghdad from 1924. I hope you found that interesting. Thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Thanks. Bye.